Hi, friends, and welcome to the annual Christmas show of the T21Mom podcast. And this is episode 116. I'm Mary, mom to Ainsley, who has Down syndrome and autism. Do you have any Christmas or holiday traditions with your kids, or maybe something different with your child with a little bit extra? Are the holidays hard for you? Maybe because your child doesn't understand the celebrations, or they don't do well with all the different activities going on because it's such a crazy time of year. Well, today we are talking about all this. And who is here with me today with their dollar store bells?
Yeah, the dollar store bells that you can't hear. So we'll put something in later. So how are you, Mary?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Yeah. Oh, it's Christmas. It's always good. Got all the displays up outside for the neighborhood. So we actually took a little bit of flack for this, but we put our great giant 12-foot skeleton out.
Yeah.
And we put a Santa coat and a Santa hat on him.
Mm-hmm.
And we have him kind of hanging lights in one of the trees in the neighborhood. And we took a little bit of flack for that. So
dear.
People saying it's not traditional. Well, you know what? Tradition starts somewhere. And
Yes.
apparently these 12-foot skeletons are being repurposed for all sorts of holiday events. So
there you go.
We're just ahead of our time in this neighborhood. That's all.
That's awesome.
Are you getting ready?
I'm almost
Santa's big scene and all that.
Yeah, I'm almost already got a couple little gifts to still get, just like some Secret Santa stuff. So I hopefully will get that done today, and then it'll just be wrapping. And yeah, my cards still haven't arrived yet. So anyone who's getting a card, it will likely be late. But other than that, pretty much ready.
I gave up on cards years ago.
Oh, I like sending out Christmas cards, and I like receiving them. So
yeah, I mean, I got one from my aunt. So she lives, far away. So we can't spend Christmas with her this year. So, but that's it. That's the only card I got. Oh, and the traditional, calendar with kitchen designs from my realtor.
There you go. And how have you been enjoying the Advent cookie calendar?
The Advent cookie calendar. Oh, I'll just leave it with the it's been wonderful.
That's awesome. Yeah,
it's a tremendous experience of sugar.
I've had lots of comments, and yeah, there's always people were still asking for them after the first. I go, they're long gone. Yeah. You got to order early.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the thing, is like every year they seem to get more popular, because you did more this year than you did last year. I think last year you did what, 45?
Oh, no. Last year I did 64, and this year 60, and I gave two, like one to Ainsley's teacher and her EA, so technically 62. I had lots of extra cookies, not enough to make like a complete box, but there was a couple of boxes that, people were late, and I said, well, I don't have, like, if you're okay with duplicates, it's fine. And of course they were fine. So yeah. So, I think, I think 65 will be a good place to cap it, because that seems to sort of be about where it ends up. So yeah.
Have you been doing decorating this year? Like cookie decorating? Like you always have that family thing with your nieces and nephews and stuff. So
yes, that's one of my favorite traditions. And so yesterday, my younger brother and his 3 kids came, and my friend Maurice and her daughter Bianca, and Christine and her daughter Zara, who we call Z, they all eventually got here. They were all like an hour late. I'm thinking, is anyone coming? But they came, and it's
that Vancouver traffic.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I've been doing it since my oldest niece was 3, and she's 23. So
I was about to say, she's like in her 20s now.
Yeah. The older nieces couldn't come this year because they're both still writing exams, but hopefully they can get back into it, because they even said, well, it is like I said, I don't know if you want to still come. And they said, well, it is tradition. So I know that they would come if they're able to. So yeah, we had it was a really fun day. And Ainsley waited patiently at the table until we got started. And, and I helped her decorate a few cookies. We did a little bit of cookie decorating at her birthday the previous week. Like I had a belated party for her, but she was more interested in eating the cookies at that time. But yesterday she did really well. And, I helped her. And then, we did, I think, three. And she goes, oh, all done, and got up and went to the couch, which is fine. And, but it was a lot of fun. And, the kids were really great. Even my nephews, they usually only do three or four themselves, but I think Aiden said he did 7 this year. So that's a record. And so Bianca and Zara, they lasted the longest, and because there was a lot of cookies, and Z was very dedicated to do all the cookies. So she did decorate every single cookie that was left. So that was fun. And I'll certainly post some pictures of those cookies. It was just great. And there was really
But
almost
how long have you been doing this? Like this cookie decorating thing? Like, did you do this as a kid?
Yeah. And my friend Maurice, who is my oldest friend, we met when we were 7. She
Grade
actually
1?
told me, pardon?
Grade 1?
Yeah, I guess it was great. They had just moved on our street, and I went and knocked on her door and asked her brother if his sister could come out and play. I didn't even know her name. Yeah, grade 1 or 2, I think it was. And she told me yesterday that she did not know that this was a tradition that I've carried on from my mom. And I'm sure that's where I get my love of baking and cookies. This is from my mom. And I also
Well, we love your
remember.
baking, so
Pardon?
we love your baking.
Thank you. And I always remember as a kid, my mom would always do a lot of Christmas baking. And because that's how I started, I would just do a lot of baking and then I would give it all away. And that's sort of kind of how the Advent cookie boxes kind of were born from that. But I always remember as a kid going into, we had that big deep freezer in the basement, going in and searching for the cookies and stealing them.
The one you could hide multiple bodies in.
Yeah. Right.
We had one of those. I think we could. I think one time we actually tried to fit 3-4 kids in it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So no, it was a lot of fun, and there was almost no mess. Like they were all about all the sprinkles and stuff, but it was good, and they're getting really good at decorating them. I mean, I don't care what the cookies look like, but the kids enjoy doing it. And, for me, I love to carry on that tradition. And, and I hope when they're older that they'll do that with their kids too. And, and I know that it's sometimes hard because I want Ainsley to participate in all of these fun Christmas things, but I think I've learned most of the time, I think, I've come to some kind of level of acceptance that, it's not going to always be like a typical child, like her getting right in there and getting all messy and pouring all the sprinkles. Well, maybe pouring the sprinkles, but she did do a couple of cookies with my help. And so I'm okay with that. And in the holidays, I know for a lot of us families, they just look a little different. And I think if you can get to that sort of acceptance of that it's going to look a little different, not your typical Hallmark Christmas, then I think it can be more enjoyable for everyone,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to be honest, if you can abandon the Hallmark stuff, because that's all about expectation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And just enjoy the time of being there rather than looking for, the Hallmark moments, which actually are quite meaningless. It's the, abandoning the expectations and just enjoying the moment.
Yeah, I like that. because that's what I was thinking is I was thinking about lowering my expectations, but I don't want to think of it like that. I think it, like you said, just like yesterday, it was just really nice being with some friends, and it wasn't too chaotic, and just sharing a tradition that I really love and enjoy, and it was great, and the kids really enjoyed it too, and to me that's what's important, is that they have fun and they enjoy it, and they're making memories. And I think it was Christine, I think, said about her daughter Zara, she had made a comment and she goes, this cookie decorating is now one of her core memories. So I thought that was really, really sweet, to hear,
Yeah.
yeah, these traditions are carrying on. So it was a great day. I loved it.
Good.
Yeah. And then every year, it's become a tradition now too, is Ainsley and I always go to the Down Syndrome Resource Foundation's Christmas breakfast, and it's a really early morning. Like we have to be, it starts at 7:30. It's short. It's really only 2 hours, but it's always a really lovely morning. And Ainsley and I, we wore our matching reindeer sweaters that I made.
I saw those. They were great.
Thank you. Yeah, I've had lots of comments on it. I'm wearing mine now, actually, because I'm going to wear the heck out of it this Christmas season. I've worked so hard on
And I'm
them.
just wearing a green shirt because, it's Christmas.
There you go. You can have some Christmas spirit. And we had lots of comments on our sweaters, which was really nice. And, they also played our video that was made about Ainsley and I, because it's sort of the wrap up.
That's the one you put up on.
It's a little bit of an older video because they did it 2 summers ago, but it's for the following calendar year, which was 2023. And then this is the end of the calendar year. So, but it was really nice. And lots of people commented on the video as well. So, that was nice. And I actually won a draw prize.
No, what'd you win?
Well,
okay. There's this, the DSRF is not going to give you an embarrassing.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Obviously the prizes are donated, and I was near the end and I go up to the table to claim my prize. And I said, "Oh, please tell me it's not the Lego." It was a huge box of a Lego. And I said, "Okay, I hope my nephews are still into Lego." And because it's some big spaceship or something. I just knew we would never use it. Like Ainsley's not into that. But thankfully they thought it was pretty cool. So there you go. So I was happy to gift that.
You never lose your love for Lego.
Because they're pretty into it. They've got a ton of Lego, and they're older now. They're 13 and 14. Yeah, Sean's 14. So I wasn't quite sure if maybe they're on the cusp, but they thought it was pretty cool. So I'm glad I was able to make use of it. But yeah, I thought, I was 2 away from winning the signed hockey jersey. That would have been awesome. But oh well. It was still a really fun morning.
Lego's cool.
Yeah. Well, I remember it as a kid. I just know Ainsley's not into it. So
yeah.
And then on Saturday, so a couple days ago, Variety, they usually have a little Christmas party. This year was a little bit different. It was at the Burnaby Village Museum. And
nice place.
Yeah, and I hadn't been in a while, and it turns out Dennis has never been. And
a friend of mine got married there.
Oh, really? Very cool.
Yeah.
And
in the little church there. Yeah.
Okay. And for those who don't know, it's like an old style rendition. Like there's all these old buildings, like an old movie theater. There's a actual old house that's there, and it's
we'll put a link in the
show notes. Okay.
In the show notes.
Yeah. It's like a step back in time, and they had lots of beautiful lights, and it was funny because the Variety gathering was just upstairs, and you can get a little gift. And this one gentleman goes, "Oh, hi, Mary," and said a few words and says, "Oh yeah, they're famous." So we're like Variety famous. Because one of the little things they had was like a pin, a Variety pin, and I flipped it over because there's always a picture on the back, and I go, "Oh, there's us," because there's a picture of us on a lot of those pins, so which was really nice. And yeah, so we went on the carousel, which was a lot of fun. And Dennis, he can't do rides. I said, you can't even do the carousel. He goes, I'm not sure. I thought, better not chance it. So, and after I said, yeah, you wouldn't have done well on the carousel. But Ainsley thoroughly enjoyed it.
Because you got that round and round thing, plus the up and do the horses go up and down as well? Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
If you've got inner ear issues, that's a ticket to, gravel.
Yeah. So, well, we learned our lesson hard one day at the P&E, the fair one summer, and the very first ride we went on, Dennis was hooped for the rest of the day. So now he just doesn't do any rides. So, which is okay, except the roller coaster. But yeah, and it was all lit up and it was really pretty. And, Ainsley really loves all the lights and, it was just great. And she walked the whole time. Like, I don't even use her stroller anymore. And it was just fun. And she loves all the lights. And, I'm hoping that we can do Lafarge, because that's a nice walk around Lafarge Lake and go see Trinity Street later this week. So
a lot of people I know have been to Lafarge this year. Like you see them all on the on their Facebook posts and whatever, and it seems like a lot of people that I know have gone just in the last 3-4 days.
Yeah, and it's free, right? So, and I was talking with a lot of my haunted Rockin Moms and asking, kind of what their traditions are. What are their Christmas traditions? And a lot of them said, looking at the lights, because their Rockin' kiddo loves the lights. And so, and that's something that's easy to do because generally people will decorate their houses. Not everyone, but it's fun to go find the neighborhoods with lots of lights. And for example, Lafarge is free. And and the Burnaby Village Museum was free. It was just, a nice way to get out. The weather was good. It was really nice. It was just a really enjoyable day. And I really do enjoy the Lafarge. So I'm hoping that we can maybe get there before Christmas Eve. We'll see. If not, we'll go after. And is your place all lit up?
You mean like my apartment, or do you mean like my neighborhood?
Well, both.
Well, the neighborhood, I mean, we do like we do our big thing at Halloween.
Yeah.
And then for Christmas, usually because it's raining and cold, not this year.
Yeah.
So we abandoned doing, we had Christmas trees set up along, the walking path, and we abandoned that this year because it was just, when it's cold and rainy, just setting up the lights and setting up the trees was just, and there's usually just 2 or 3 of us that are doing it because people are working during the day and stuff.
Yeah.
So this year other than our giant skelly, which we put up, we've done a lot of inflatables this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got an inflatable.
They're quick, they're easy.
Yeah.
Every year we do. My neighbor Laura, she makes sure there's a mailbox so the kids can come and mail their letters to Santa.
Aw, I love that. So that's awesome.
So we usually get, we get a bunch of letters, which we pass on to the appropriate authorities.
Perfect.
And they actually answer.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really, what it is, this is the point where everybody needs to cover the ears of their children. But what really happens is we collect them and then we send them to Canada Post. And Canada Post has this service of volunteers who answer the letters. Oh,
I was wondering if that's what you did or if someone there actually did. Oh, that's fantastic.
So you can take your hands away from the kids' ears now.
Yeah. Because I think, isn't it just Santa Claus, North Pole, and the postal code is ho, ho, ho?
Ho, 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 yeah.
Yeah, which is great. For those in the States, zip code. We call it postal code.
So, yeah, I mean, so that's what we do. And then they're usually up. And then for me personally, I have like a string of lights in the shape of a tree that I hang in my front window. And then I have lights around the top of my balcony ceiling. So
wonderful. We've got some lights. At least
there's something. I don't do a tree because it's just, there's just me and it's a lot of work.
Yes. So putting up a tree. It took us a few days to do it. Yeah. Ainsley actually helped a little bit. I said, here, do you want to put some ornaments on? And so she did. I had to help her, just because of her fine motor skills. But, she put on a few, but the rest was me. I don't think Dennis put on one ornament.
Was he guiding you from a distance or?
I don't know if he was even there when I did most of them because it kind of happened over a few days, to be honest. And
Okay.
yeah, but he worked on putting up the inflatable Santa. We call him drunk Santa because he kind of leans a little bit.
Yeah. 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 I could see that.
Yeah,
So,
but it's good, and we got some lights out, I got some lit up stars and a tree, like not a Christmas tree. I think it's like technically like a poplar tree. That's got lots of lights on it, and I threw on some ornaments. So
right.
maybe
So
we'll get the lights up eventually. I don't know if that will happen this year, but we'll see. We
there's
got a
always so
week.
much to do.
I know.
And
I
again,
know.
it comes back to that, the Hallmark expectation of having, like these Christmas light fights that, that apparently are so popular on television, what I find bizarre. But, it's like people go like to these extremes,
Hmm.
so when you have, like you have so much to do. I mean, first off, you're a Christmas mom, right?
Yeah.
So you got a lot of stuff. I mean, are you hosting dinner this year?
Yes, because it will probably be my last year to host because of my work schedule. Because I don't know if I'll because Christmas will be following on a weekday for the
Right.
next few years, and I don't know if I'll be able to get it off. So,
Right. So
yeah.
that's an added
Hmm.
pressure, right? So you've got a lot to do. So if you don't get a string of lights up, or drunk Santa leans a little more than he usually does, no, give yourself some credit. You got a lot on your plate, right? And to every other mom and dad out there, like,
Hmm.
temper your expectations with your time,
Hmm. And
right?
because
And
I
don't
think
and
it's
don't feel bad if you don't get it all done.
yes, and I think it's more about just creating some nice memories. It's just not about how, like you said, the lights on outside or what have you.
Yeah.
It's
The warmth is inside.
exactly. But my favorite night of the whole year is Christmas Eve. It's
It's magic.
yeah, I feel like there's like almost like a sense of calm in the world for that one day, that
And you
one
know why that
evening.
is?
No.
It's because everything's closed. You
Hmm.
can't do anymore, right?
Yeah, that's
Right. So
true.
so you can now sit down and you can actually relax and soak in stuff.
Yeah.
That's what Christmas Eve is, because everything's closed. You can't do anything. If you haven't got it by Christmas Eve,
It's too
forget
late.
about
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, I
You
and
don't need that cream cheese on your bagel anyway.
there you go. Yeah, and like I said, I was asking my haunted Rockin Moms what some of their traditions were, and it seems like a lot of them have Christmas Eve traditions, like new jammies. It seems like a lot of them give their kids new jammies. And I always give Ainsley a Christmas Eve box. She's not so much into opening presents. So I don't even think I'll wrap the box, but I have this nice, cute box that I've had for years. And she always gets a new pair of jammies and a Christmas book and some chocolate. And I always get her an ornament. And I try to write the year on it. This year one, I don't think I'll be able to write on it. It's like a glass ornament. So I'm not sure if maybe there's a tag that I can write the year on it. But I've been doing that tradition since my nieces were first born. I've always given them an ornament so that when they eventually grow up and move out, they'll have their own ornaments for their, when they first have their own Christmas. And I try to write the year on their ornaments. And I really loved hearing some of my haunted Rockin Moms, some of their traditions. And my friend Christine, she said she also does the ornament thing with her kids as well. So I thought that was really cool. And Janess, who we call geneticist, said her oldest son, I'm pretty sure it's her oldest son, he gets a nutcracker every year based on whatever he's into. So one year it was snowboarding, and another year it was a pirate nutcracker, because he was into Captain Jack Sparrow. And I think she said this year he's into Vikings. I don't know where you find these nutcrackers, these different themed nutcrackers, but I think
I
it's
was
really
just
cool,
thinking the same thing.
you know?
That
So
takes a lot of effort.
yeah, but I'm sure those are pretty special for him. And then those are nice memories throughout the years. He goes, "Oh yeah, that year I was into this. That year I was into snowboarding." I think that's pretty fun. And then on Christmas Eve, we always go like to an early kind of Christmas Eve mass, and then we always go to my friend Marcy's for. She always hosts like a little get together. It's just usually her family and we and maybe a couple other friends, and
What
we
year
always go
number is
by.
this for that?
Pardon me?
What year number is this for that? Like how many years have you been doing that?
Well, forever, really. It actually started at my place growing up after midnight mass. So it would be like 2 a.m. Marcy and Jill would come over and, they would stay for like probably an hour, like till 3 a.m. And we would eat and we'd get to open one present and just chat and have a nice time and then go home. And so now Marcy does that a little bit earlier though, not midnight mass. So, which is really nice. And there's always a ton of food. And I remember one year her brother Rick had bought, I think it was this Lindt chocolate box, and it was all these Christmas Lindt chocolate balls. It was so good. I think I tried every single one. But yeah, she always puts on a really lovely spread, and it's like one of my things that I love doing on Christmas Eve. It's just, a really nice get together, and of course listening to Christmas music, and yeah, it's just a really nice evening. I've had a few rough Christmas Eves where Ainsley was sick, I think a few years in a row. Not a great memory, but we can laugh about it now. So
I remember one, I think, where she threw up in church or something.
she threw up on Dennis, I think, at
On
Marcy's.
Dennis, that's what it was.
Yeah. Poor Dennis. He's such a trooper though, so but yeah, I just love Christmas Eve and all the music, and it's just always such a wonderful evening. And then one of the Haunted Rockin Moms staff, she said they celebrate La Befana. Have you heard of that? I don't know if I've said it correctly.
I can totally admit I am thoroughly ignorant of it.
Oh, I'm surprised. I thought for sure you would know. But
there are some things I don't know, Mary.
Okay. But I had never heard of it. I said, "What is this?" And it's an Italian tradition. So again, I still hadn't heard of it. And Dennis is somewhat familiar with it. Well, not somewhat.
I'm going to have to ask my friend Angelo.
Okay. He probably knows.
He is like, yeah, he's very Italian.
And so it's actually celebrated on the Epiphany in January. And as Dennis described it to me, she's a good witch who brings presents. And Steph said as a child, they could never understand, because I guess she's there with all her cousins, is that why her mom or a cousin always suddenly had to go to the store to get a loaf of bread. Excuse me. And then when I had asked about this, fangirl Amy even said that she bought a La Befana doll this year, which I didn't even know this existed. So I thought that was kind of cool. And so that was sort of fun to hear that tradition that they have. And, I'll have to ask Dennis a little bit more about it, or maybe ask Nona about it, because I've never heard of it until now. So yeah, it was kind of fun to hear their different traditions. Most, was the jammies and oh yeah, the Christmas, the white elephant, people called it.
Something else I'm ignorant of.
Oh, you'll know what this is. We call it the Christmas steal. And
I don't know that either.
Oh, okay. It's actually one of my funnest things on Christmas that we do. It's just the adults do it. We just get a unisex gift, nothing expensive. I think it's $20, and you draw a number. And I think there's usually 8 of us who participate. So, but you want to get number 8. You want to be the last person. So whoever is first goes and picks a gift, opens it. And then the next person can either steal that gift or open a gift. So if you're the last person, you can see everything that's been picked except the last gift. So you can make a choice, right? But every year at our house, there's always an argument over the rules.
Of course there would.
Always. It's like how many steals, and the last person should be able to steal or whatever. It's it can get quite heated, all in good fun. But it's always fun. And and some, and often people are pretty creative with what they get. So
the season of giving becomes the season of thievery.
Yeah, and so several of our Rockin Moms mentioned that they do something similar every year. So I quite enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's sometimes a little tricky on finding, a gift, but I think it's good fun. The kids get lots of presents, and it's just a nice time for the adults. And of course, there's probably been some wine at that point. So
I was wondering when wine was going to enter this conversation.
Almost every conversation, right? But
Excuse me while I have some water.
Yeah, so no, I love Christmas. I know that it can be hard. I know sometimes I do find the holidays hard, whatever the holiday is, because Ainsley doesn't really understand the holidays. I mean, we've been reading a couple Christmas books since the beginning of December. And, and she knows who Santa is and Frosty the Snowman, because we've been reading the Frosty the Snowman book. And so that, I'm thinking that's good. I'm glad to see that. And, we haven't gone to see Santa yet, but now that I'm thinking, like, maybe she has a bit more understanding of it. And, and I wish for that excitement of the holidays. Remember as a kid running down, getting up at the crack of dawn or even before the crack of dawn to see what's under the tree. I mean, I think we all have those memories. And and Ainsley isn't interested like that. And
well, one thing about going to meet Santa Claus is if you go to Metrotown, the mall, mm-hmm. they have traditional Santa, and then they have tropical Santa.
What's tropical Santa?
I have no idea. I saw it on a sign when I was over there the other day, and it was like, you got to be kidding me! Like a tropical Santa? Like what is that?
I don't know.
And I just wasn't going to go because I just wasn't going to go and take a look. It was like, I don't want, my dreams and my expectations ruined by some marketing gimmick.
Oh dear. So, is Santa wearing a swimsuit?
Oh God, I hope not. There's a reason why Christmas happens in December. But I mean, it also, brings up a song by a woman called Kobe Kayat called Christmas in the Sand, which is where this woman is on vacation and Santa is there trying to surf and messes it up terribly. It's quite a nice little tune, actually. It's called Christmas in the Sand. If you can find it on YouTube. So yeah, make sure she goes to the traditional Santa.
Oh, 100%. Yes, yeah. We'll be doing that. So yeah,
Santa in a Speedo, just not, it's just not.
No, that does sound a bit odd to me. So yeah. I'll search it up, see if I can find out what tropical Santa is, because I've never heard of that. So, and to be honest, I don't know if Ainsley will ever have that excitement, for her birthday or for Christmas. And at times that's really hard. And I'm sure there's a lot of parents out there who feel that. But, as you were saying, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but just try to enjoy
the moment.
Like for Ainsley, when I had our belated party, that, we had 5 really wonderful friends came. And to me, that was a really big deal.
Did she sing happy birthday?
Yes. And they also all sang happy birthday to her. So, and just,
I love visiting your house because all of a sudden in the background, there's like multiple verses of happy birthday being sung by Ainsley.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to find, those moments to just kind of savor and to enjoy instead of, I guess, wishing for things that may never happen. And, and I think kept my expectations sort of realistic And, and as long as Ainsley's happy and, she might not be participating how I would love for her to participate, but that's okay. I'm learning to be okay with that. And that as long as we're all happy and enjoying our time, then that's
Happy,
really,
safe, and together.
yeah, exactly. And, because I still want her to have all those experiences. And, and maybe she will get excited for these things when she's older, but, I don't know. And she's never been overly interested in presents. And I've heard that from a lot of other Rockin Moms that their kids aren't overly interested in presents, with the dual diagnosis and without. So, which is kind of interesting. But, and she's getting a little bit hard to buy for. And, but I don't know for how long, but I've been doing the 4 gifts. Something you want, something you need, something to wear, and something to read. And I've discovered that this year Ainsley likes to clean. I don't know where this came from.
Can be handy.
Yes. But she's often grabbing a cloth and wiping the floor or the windows or picking up the vacuum. And when we were at the little variety event on the weekend, I was busy talking with a friend. I go, "Oh, where's Ainsley?" And I couldn't find her in the room, but there was like, I think, a little kitchen off the room. And so someone went in there and looked, and there was Ainsley with a spray bottle, don't know where she found it, and a cloth cleaning the floor.
That's good.
So
as long as she wasn't squirting it in her mouth or something.
That's all good. And so I found her little cleaning kit for Christmas. So she will be getting that as one of her gifts. So yeah. And, I know, like, I love Christmas, and I really hope that Ainsley can grow to love it and enjoy it like I do. It may not happen. And I know for some, especially those with a dual diagnosis, this could be a really hard time of year because there's so many people and noise. And I just remember one woman a few years ago said, her son loves Hot Wheels because she didn't know what to get him for a gift. And she goes, "Does he need another Hot Wheel car?" No. But she gives him one every year because that's what makes him happy and that's what he likes. Is it how she probably envisioned Christmas? Probably not. But, as we were talking, not everyone has a Hallmark Christmas, and who really does? And that's okay. Go and see the lights. Our kids love the lights. And, for the most part, it's free. And, although like I've said at times, like sometimes this is hard, but I'm really trying to focus on enjoying the small things, like you said. Like when we're at the Burnaby Village, Ainsley walked the whole way, and she decorated some cookies at our cookie decorating, and we go to Marcy's every year and just enjoy it. And honestly, I think it's helped me to sort of slow down a little bit and enjoy the holidays more.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And what about you?
What about me?
Do you have any holiday traditions?
I don't, it's since my parents passed, the only tradition that we keep up is, my 2 brothers and I, we make sure we're together for Christmas dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we're going to my older brother's place. I'm cooking the turkey because he only lives just across the street, right? Well, where.
Yeah.
So I'm cooking the turkey and the stuffing, and I'm taking that. I'll just walk it down. And then, my younger brother will come over from his place because I think I told you where he lives over,
Yep.
over Cap Mall way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll have dinner. And my nephew probably won't make it because, he'll be with his mom and her family.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so that's, sometimes we have, drop-in orphans who come along.
And that's okay.
Depending on the year, who doesn't have a place to go.
Yeah.
So, and that's a holdover from, when we were kids, because our house would wind up being full of, we would have like 13, 14 people for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and there would only be like 8 of us who were actually family. So, but it was, there are people who just have nowhere to go. And so we, like my buddy Doug, who,
Yeah.
he's a digital nomad.
Yeah.
We had him for Thanksgiving because he has nowhere to go. And if he was here, we'd have him, come for Christmas, but he's house sitting somewhere far away. So, we'll pick up orphans along the way.
That's nice. Yeah.
If there are any.
So, if there are any. Yeah. And
people should, people should not, really be alone at Christmas, simply because it is a time for togetherness and for people to, I mean, really all throughout the year, people should be trying to be nice to one another, especially now.
Yeah.
But because that's really the point of Christmas. Like when I was a kid, you get all these toys, but I don't really remember the toys, but I do remember the dinners.
Yeah. I remember that too.
And that's, and for me, that's the thing is it's not about, your gift is your presence, really. So that's how, we look at it. So.
Yes, I believe that too, that no one should be alone if they don't want to be alone on Christmas. I would have anyone over. And Christine, she does that as well. That was one of her traditions that I think has happened with when she grew up. And like she said, her son has a friend that doesn't really, I think there's some issues with his family. And so he's going to come to their place for Christmas. And I think that's wonderful. And I would open my doors to anyone who don't have a place to be on Christmas, because I think that's what you, like you said, it's what it's about, is being together. If that's what you wish, some people want to be alone on Christmas, and that's totally fine too. But if you want to be together and have dinner and lots of food,
especially, turkey.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, when we had the smaller smaller group, it was just my older brother and I. We were in that was our bubble. We couldn't have my younger brother come. So rather than turkey that year, we did prime rib.
And that's okay.
It was perfect.
Yeah, one mom said there's just, I guess, so many gatherings over the holidays, and I think she said one year they had Japanese, I think it was Japanese steakhouse for Christmas dinner, because she said, we were kind of all turkeyed out. So whatever works for you.
One year, our oven stopped working.
Oh, geez.
And so right in the middle of cooking the turkey.
Oh, no.
So that, that was a year where you had like 12 or 14 people around. And so whatever was in the pantry was what we had for dinner.
But that's a Christmas memory, right?
Yeah. And it's one of those memories that, why you should always have, like a canned ham in your pantry.
Yeah, you can always figure something out. So
anyway, so that's sort of my Christmas. So
that's nice.
And I miss my mom and I miss my dad,
of course.
But and they've been gone now. Like my mom's been gone 12 years and my dad, I guess, 14 years. So it's just one of those, it's the stages of life. So as long as my brothers and my extended family is happy and well, I'm good.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yes. Well, thanks for listening to the T21Mom podcast. I'm going to take a little break over the holidays, and we'll return probably in late January. And I really appreciate everyone who is listening all over the world. It truly makes my heart happy. Let's all be kind to one another and have a very Merry Christmas and a joyous holiday season. Keep on loving on your rockin' kiddos, and I'll see you next time.
Merry Christmas to you all, Mary.
Thanks, Ron, and Merry Christmas to you.
See ya.
Bye.